Columbia. We'd like to tell you about how we reduce, reuse, and recycle.
This is what we try to avoid.
Because all of our non-compostable and non-recyclable stuff, we have to throw in here to get taken to a landfill.
As a part of America's Recycle program, we at Allendale Columbia have recycled and bought recycled products.
We even printed out our pledge forms on recycled paper.
Here at Allendale, we use plastic plates instead of paper, and so this cuts down on waste. Here at Allendale, we also use metal silverware instead of plastic ones, so we don't have to throw them out. We got it for the environment.
How much recyclables do we recycle a day?
Oh, now that's a tough
That's
one.
a tough question because we
That's
don't.
tough.
Is it a lot?
We accumulate things each day like light bulbs, batteries. It varies. Batteries.
And there's about 50 light bulbs in each box.
That's a lot of light bulbs.
That's a lot of light bulbs.
The batteries we get in on a weekly basis. We might do a 2-gallon bucket, maybe every couple of months. So recycled ballasts for the fluorescent lighting. We'll do a 5-gallon bucket of those probably every 2 to 3 months.
We got different ones for different light bulbs that they would put in, and then we ship them out so they can be recycled.
Cool.
So, where do you get all these light bulbs from? The lights around the school?
Yes, when we had to replace them when they burn out.
This bin right here is a recycling bin, which is used for it's like an opposite of a trash can, but the difference is that you put plastics and reusable things that came from the environment. See?
We have these all around the school. These are where we put our milk cartons, our water glasses, and our orange juice cartons. But first you have to take off the top and throw it out. Once these are done, they get out to the shipping dock where they get shipped on the recycling truck all the way back to where they become into other recycled.
This is where we recycle all our recyclable stuff like cardboard, paper, cans. Okay, so over here we got juice cartons. Over here we've got metal cans. Here we've got metal cartons. Over here we've got more metal cans. And over here we've got more cups, trees, and yeah.
So, what do you think you do for recycling here at school?
Oh, I try to recycle all of the paper that I've used and I no longer need. Try to do as much electronically as is possible so that I don't use paper. Right? I try to make sure that I use a cup like this, right, for my coffee and my drinks, so that I can use a reusable receptacle, right, for those things. So I'm just not using paper cups or styrofoam or things like that.
What type of recycling are you proud that Allendale does?
Well, I think it's neat that we really try to do less paper, right, with your iPads, right? We've tried to do less paper there. We try to do less printing, right? And we really have cut down from last year, right? I think what we try to do at lunchtime with the recycling of all of the containers that can be recycled now in Monroe County, right? That's cool. We still have a ways to go. People still forget, right? So when you look at the trash, you still see some of those plastic cups and things. But we're getting better. And I think the fact that we're composting, right, is terrific.
Okay.
Thank you. What is your role at Allendale?
My role here is the Director of Information Technology. we do a couple different initiatives to reduce, reuse, and recycle. We reduce by eliminating excess paper, by being more efficient with our assignments, distributing homework using email and websites. We allow students to submit their work through cloud technologies so that they don't have to submit paper. We also make sure that our printers are running to be as efficient as possible to reduce usage there. We also eliminated some of the servers that we're using to reduce the amount of heating and electricity that we need. We recycle by taking some of the unused equipment that's no longer fit for classrooms and using a contract recycler to come in and take the parts and instead of putting them back in the landfills. And then we reuse by taking parts like these old laptops that don't work anymore and taking parts off of them to fix laptops that just need a little bit of help. So maybe we take this screen off here, or maybe we take this keyboard and use it on another laptop. And I have a whole cabinet full of parts machines over there that I can use to repair systems that just need a little extra help.
This is our weight facility. Our teams, our phys ed classes both do some training in here, as well as some outside people, including our faculty and staff. If you look, as soon as we came into the fitness center, the lights came on. The lights came on with a sensor, and this is another way that we conserve some energy. It's all on sensors in here. So after a 2-minute period of no activity in here with motion sensors, the lights go off, and if somebody starts moving in the room, the lights go on. It's just another easy way to kind of think about the environment and to conserve some energy.
Okay. We did a project 2 summers ago down in both our gyms to help us save on kilowatt hours of electricity for lighting the gym. We used to use a bulb like this, which was 400 watts. Think about it. One bulb was 400 watts. In both gyms, we had 61 fixtures. So 61 fixtures times 400 watts. That's how many watts we were burning in an hour. And once you turn these on, you couldn't turn them off because they take so long to cool down and then be able to relight them. This is known as a metal halide bulb. Kind of like an incandescent like you got at home because it's got the screw-in base that you have. So we went to what's known as a T5 fluorescent bulb. Okay, and there's 6 bulbs in each fixture, and each of these bulbs is 30 watts. So if you multiply that out, each fixture was 180 watts versus 400. And these bulbs you can turn on and off because they don't require any cool down time or startup time. So sometimes when you go down to the gym, you'll notice the lights are off. That's because they're saving energy. So with these bulbs here, the gym was on from 7 o'clock in the morning to sometimes 10 o'clock at night, especially if they had a basketball game or if there was something going on. Right? And they were on all day long. So think about that. 400 watts per fixture, which 61 fixtures times how many hours was that? Like 15 hours for the day? 180 watts. We can turn them on and off whenever we want. So a tremendous kilowatt hour saving just in changing these fixtures. And we got better light. Any questions about that?
No, we pretty much covered it all.
Covered it all, okay. You know, you normally flush, therefore it's a waterless urinal. And we save, according to the manufacturer, 40,000 gallons of water every year. Now, think of it, every time you use the urinal, you use 1.5 gallons of water to flush it down. We don't use anything. So that's how we save the water.
Okay, let's see.
That's pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
Reusing stuff. Do you want to hear about how I reuse things?
Yes. Okay.
one way. We have a lot of different trays, and we have a lot of different little plastic containers. And so, well, some yogurt containers, and we have some sour cream containers. And so every year we will reuse these containers to make different lab experiments. So we don't have to buy new containers each time to do our experiments. We just reuse the ones we have, and we don't have to throw them out. They don't have to go to a landfill or go to the facility where they recycle them. We can just reuse them, so it saves on resources. Glass beaker, we use glass beakers. We use those. We just keep reusing those all the time. And up here, we have little cups that we can reuse. Instead of buying the paper cups for the bathroom supplies, we can use the plastic ones. And so we can reuse these each time instead of buying the paper ones, which get a little squishy.
And usually with the paper one, kids like to rip them. And,
right. Okay. And here's something else over here. We have plastic forks and spoons and our pipettes.
And toothbrushes.
They're called pipettes.
Some already made biochar.
Yes.
And,
There we go.
and in this container we have biochar. This is
Remains.
solid biochar.
Yep.
And then there's some biochar nuts.
It looks silvery to me. It does.
And how you can tell that it's real biochar is if you take a little bit and feel it, it washes off with just plain water.
So pine cones would be good. I know, the shears?
Yep.
I saw that when I was there at August. Pine cones, walnuts are good. The shells burn really well. The only thing I was worried about is whether they were dry or not, but they seemed pretty dry. You don't want to put wet stuff in there because...
Wet stuff doesn't burn.
Right.
We tried burning wet leaves.
What we've been doing the past 3 years is at the end of the school year, we try to collect the extra school supplies. So when students are cleaning out their lockers to go home for the summer, we try to get the binders that are still in good shape that can be used by other people, or all that loose leaf notebook paper or extra pencils, all that type of stuff we have collected, and we've then taken and we donate it to either the Open Door Mission or to the Sanctuary House. We've been doing this, I think, about the last 3 or 4 years.
So who gave you the idea? When did you think of it?
Actually, Mr. Reagan came up with the idea because he kept seeing how much stuff in the middle school was being thrown away, and he gave us the idea. He started it in the middle school, and we continued it in the upper school, and now the community service group does it. And so the last day of school, the community service club opens every single locker, helps clean out the lockers, collects the school supplies and sorts them. We put them in boxes so that we can take them to the Open Door Mission.
Do you only donate to local places?
We do only donate to local places. We found that these 2 places here in Rochester really can use the supplies and are very thankful for them, so we continue to send them there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, well, at Allendale Columbia, we have a really great environmental club, and we have started a lot of great initiatives to help the upper school be more green. We have a carpool map, which I can actually grab if you want to see it later, but we've mapped out where all of the upper schoolers live so people can see who they live close to so they can carpool to school. We also compost every day after lunch. We take all of the uneaten fruits and vegetables, and we have a compost heap in the back of the school, and we use the compost to fertilize the Allendale garden, which we get vegetables from for school lunches. We also have a school and community-wide recycling day where we can recycle anything from used clothes, shoes, electronics, cell phones. So this has been a really great event. We pair with the Community Service Club on that. See, we also are working with school administration to get more comprehensive recycling bins around the school so we can have separate bins for paper, plastics, and aluminum. Yeah, so I think that's about it. I'm probably...
A recommendation to save more paper and energy in the future?
Well, I think what's going to happen is the iPads, of course, allow us to do a lot with a lot less paper. And I know that I am working with the administrative team to do things by electronically instead of printing stuff out all the time. And so we only print stuff out when we absolutely have to. And so I think that will save paper.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We do a lot of things in the art department. Are you ready to hear them all?
Yeah.
Okay. We recycle all of our batteries from our cameras. We also recycle all of the print cartridges that come out of the printers. Those get sent back for recycling. We did a project this year that you both may remember for the Greentopia Festival. Do you guys remember what we recycled?
Bottle caps.
Remember that one? So we made a huge mural out of bottle caps for Greentopia. In upper school, we do a project where we recycle materials and turn them into gardens. We also do an altered books project. The librarian donates all of her books that she doesn't want anymore. We take them and recycle them and turn them into art projects, into these artist books. And we recycle all of our paper. We also, when we do clay projects, we recycle the slip. So when your clay is sort of finished being used and you have those little tiny pieces that are sitting on the table, we put those all into a bucket with water and it turns them into slip. And slip is glue for clay. So
why did you start the compost?
Well, when I was sitting in the lower school lunch one day, I noticed myself throwing things away and other kids at my table throwing things away that it just seemed like shouldn't be going in the garbage. Because at home, we were so in the habit of taking anything that could be compost and putting it in a separate place. And I thought, that would be really easy to do at school. And one thing that we could do to improve the campus and be more environmentally conscious and sustainable. So I introduced the idea to some other faculty members and they said, sure, let's give it a try. And we did it, and it was easy, and we're still doing it.
And where does after the compost has been decomposed and composted, where do you put it?
We use it on the plants, and particularly the vegetables that we grow at school.
In the garden?
Yes, the garden and the compost from the school lunches, which is a little closer to where we had the cold frames, will be used, will be put in those cold frames and used when we grow salad greens again next spring.
Well, thank you very much. I think that's
Our garden, where we usually plant vegetables such as lettuce, what else? Potatoes, and other sorts of vegetables. Just a couple days ago, we had some potatoes at our lunch that were seasoned. These came from these two gardens. I know they're not much, but they're gardens. Currently, we do not have anything growing here because we just harvested our vegetables. Each day at lunch, we have things written in green. The things written in green can go in the compost bucket. This is our compost bucket. Every day at lunch, any items that could be composted, which are written in green on the board, we can then put into here. So instead of having to throw them out, we get to use them in our garden for enriched soil.
Here we are at our school compost pile. And it gets pretty messy back here because we have baked potatoes for lunch and there's a lot of extra compost back here. And so what we do with the compost is there's a compost bucket inside our school, inside our lunchroom. So, and some of our classmates in middle school, they take the bucket out and put it in the compost pile. It gets pretty smelly, so you might want to bring your nose plugs. Come on. Oh, geez, it really does smell.
But it's all good for the earth.
This is our compost pile. As you can see, we have a lot of fruits and vegetables that come here from compost. Okay, that's it. We're good. Let's
do the composting, which is the same thing that you guys probably do in middle school at lunch as well. We also recycle some paper. Most of the offices recycle paper. And we do some cans, but it's sort of this year the environmental club is looking to see if we can get new containers to do some of that recycling. Okay.
Do you know what else maybe the environmental club would do to help recycle?
They've done some events, like where you could bring your computers and batteries and things like that. Even shoes one year they had that you could recycle.
Recycle at all?
Yes.
Yeah.
We recycle paper, and we
Are they recording?
we recycle milk cartons.
Oh.
We compost. That's same idea as recycling. We compost things at
Do
lunch.
you
and try to
ever
use
like
it.
drink milk cartons and stuff in here and like throw it in the recycle?
Yes, that's why
it smells.
That's what these things are for. When we drink milk cartons in the lounge.
How do you?
I'm Mr. Sullivan. We do the usual things. We, especially through the lunch program, we have the various bins and barrels where we deliver, trash versus discarded food, those types of things. Something exciting that's coming up in the lower school this year is a day called Entrepreneur Day. And 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders are going to take part in that. They're going to be writing business plans to show how they're taking recyclables, reusables, and creating new products that they're going to ultimately be selling to other students and to parents and to teachers later on the school year, and then donating that money to a worthy cause of their choice. But they're going to get firsthand knowledge about how they can collect trash and that kind of thing, and be creative about how they can recycle that trash to become something useful again.
Well, I usually save the paper because I tend to get several times a year teachers looking for newspaper to use for projects, especially the art room. And so I keep a supply so that it can be reused for projects. Would you like to see what I have?
Sure. Yes, that'd be good. Sorry to interrupt, but I've noticed that you have near your desk, you have a lot of cardboard boxes. What do you do with them? Do you recycle them? Do you save them for projects?
I generally recycle them because I get lots of boxes of books in all the time. So I have these little blue recycle bins all around the library. And so I usually
Can you show us?
break down the box.
Oh, cool.
Yes. Oh, mending books. That was one thing we were going to talk about. I generally like to keep the books going as long as they can before throwing them out and buying new ones.
And reusing them, right? To reuse them more.
Yeah, right. We want to get many, many uses out of each book. And so I have all kinds of fancy tapes and archival glues and things like that. Fancy tapes.
Wow, that's some big tape.
Ooh, this is interesting. I have, a book, Care and Repair, Book Saving Techniques. And you can...
Ours. Mm-hmm. Well, we do recycle. We have blue recycling bins over there, and we recycle everything that we can. Paper, cups, water bottles, all kinds of stuff like that. Everything, paper, plastics, and the cleaning crew comes and takes that and recycles it for us. We also reuse a ton of stuff. We do lots of crafts and lots of projects, and we use, toilet paper rolls and things like that. We also have an auction every year, Evelyn, that you've been involved in, and I get furniture off the side of the road, and people donate furniture that they would either throw away or give to Salvation Army or whatever, and the kids paint that and refurbish it, and we sell it and actually raise money for charities that the children choose. And when we print, we have sign-out sheets every day that the parents sign out. We print on recycled paper, and we also print on, we use scrap paper that we can use one side of. We use tons of paper for lots of projects, and we have scrap paper, so if kids only need a little piece of paper, they'll go to the scrap bin and use that. And there's tons, like old telephone wire we use, lots of reusing. we do that a lot, and recycle as much as we can.
Sounds like you really care about the planet.
Of course we do, yeah.
Yes, it is a nice planet.
And hopefully more people will start caring more about the planet, because it takes us all. There are people who, don't do much. We try and do as much as we possibly can. I wish we could do more. But hopefully more people will get on board.
Okay.
Did you have any?
Okay, guys, what do you think recycling is?
When it's empty? What do you do with it when it's empty? What do you do with something when it's empty?
Recycle.
You recycle it. Where do you put it?
You guys are cutting stuff out. What are you guys going to do with the paper? Recycle it. Where are you going to put it at? Recycle. What color is the bin? So you guys are some smart kids. Is that it? Bottles.
Bottles, yep.
Cans.
Uh-huh.
And you guys know what we do with our plates after lunch? Lunch lady, she cleans them.
This is it? Yeah. So what goes in there? The paper?
Yes.
Yeah.
Look how good I'm cutting that.
Nice job, guys.
That you recycle something.
What kinds of things?
Like bottles and like
Water bottles?
all that kind of stuff.
Do we recycle here at school?
Yeah.
Do we recycle milk cartons?
Yeah.
And water bottles?
That's how it goes.
These are some ways that Allendale Columbia is eco-friendly. Thanks for watching. Bye.